Hello guys, gals, non-binary pals, and waterfowls. It's me, Big Mike. And if my voice sounds a bit more serious than it usually is, there's a very good reason behind that. As you'll soon find out, the topic we're going to be covering today is quite a heavy one. Almost a year ago today exactly, I did my very first deep dive, and my very first deep dive was on Microsoft's Bing's Sydney, a yandere-like AI. And by chance, and not by design, today's video we're going to be doing another deep dive on an AI topic. And in this video we're going to be focusing on Sora, OpenAI's new video generating model. If you've spent any time online over the past couple of days, you've likely heard of Sora and seen some of the videos made by it. It has been touted as a monumental event, and I definitely agree it was. Now, some would even go so far as to say it was the beginning of a new era, an era in which we can no longer believe anything we see on TV or the internet. Full disclaimer, as the writing of this video, I'm unsure if any videos from Sora will be included in the final. I'm unsure if I'll be able to get any across the YouTube copyright system. So if none of the clips appear in the video, that's why. Now, anything made by an AI is considered in the public domain, copyright free, generally speaking. However, with YouTube's copyright system, sometimes it can be a bit funky, so just kind of keep that in mind. Who are OpenAI? So first, let's take a look at the company or the organization behind Sora. OpenAI is a US-based artificial intelligence research organization founded in December 2015. It started researching artificial intelligence with the goal of developing safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence, which it defines as highly autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. It began originally as a non-profit organization before moving to a for-profit one. If that name sounds familiar, and if you're interested in AI, it definitely should. That is because they have produced numerous AI products, the most famous being ChatGPT and DALL-E. As a result of being such movers and shakers in the AI industry, they are often counted among those leading the AI spring. In fact, it has even been said that its release of ChatGPT was what started the AI spring. One final relevant point about OpenAI that is worth mentioning is their approach to mitigating possible harm caused by AI by giving everyone AI. Now, this view has been criticized by those concerned with the possible harm AI can cause. Some, such as the philosopher Nick Bostrom, has criticized this approach by saying, if you had a button that could do bad things to the world, you don't want to give that to everyone. However, regardless of such criticisms, OpenAI still maintains this view today. Now fam, keep this view in mind, because their view here is going to come into play again later. What is OpenAI Sora? Simply put, it's a text-to-video AI model, of which there have been a few before, such as Meta's Make a Video, Runway's Gen 2, and Google's Lumiere. Now Sora in particular has the ability to generate videos up to a minute in length. It has the ability to craft scenes with a great deal of details, complex camera movements, and with several characters, all with unique emotions. And there is more. It can take a still image and create videos based on it. And it can make existing videos longer by adding new material. How does it work? Now, forewarning here fam, things are about to get technical, so please bear with me as these details, while technical, are going to be very important for understanding the rest of the video. As a text-to-video AI model, it works by the user giving it a short, descriptive prompt, and from these prompts it generates videos. To achieve this end, it uses a technique known as text-to-video synthesis. This technique works by converting natural language into visual representations, such as images or videos. And this is not an easy task either. In order to do this, the AI model must understand both the meaning and the context of the text. It must also understand the video's visual and physical aspects, too. For instance, the AI needs to know what objects and characters are in the scene, how they look, how they move, how they interact, and how they are affected by their environment. Sora is able to do this because it's built on a deep neural network. A deep neural network is a type of machine learning model that can learn from data and perform complex tasks. Sora uses a large data set of videos that it has learned from, covering various topics, styles, and genres. Sora analyzes the text prompt and extracts the relevant keywords such as the subject, the action, and the location, the time, and the mood. It then searches for the most suitable videos from its dataset that match the keywords and blends them together to create a new video. Sora also uses a technique called style transfer, which allows it to modify the appearance and feel of the video according to the user's preference. For example, if the user wants a video with a cinematic style shot on 35mm film and with vivid colors, Sora can apply these effects to the video, changing the lighting, color, and camera angles. To demonstrate this, let's say we want to give it the prompt, a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. It would generate the following video. Why is it so important? Now, full disclaimer here, fam. The views in this section are not my own, but are the views of a journalist I consulted, one by the name of Saravanan. And please forgive me if I mispronounce that name, but I'll link the article in the About section of this video, so please check it out. Sora is an example of a monumental evolution of the AI in video generation fields. It does this by demonstrating a deep understanding of language, visual perception, and physical dynamics. Additionally, it demonstrates AI's potential to bring to life content that is both engaging and immersive for a wide variety of purposes, including entertainment, education, art, and communication. What issues does it present? Now, in this section, I am going to be discussing the problems or issues that it may cause. And in doing so, I'm going to break this section down into 3 parts, with each part dedicated to a specific issue. The first issue: Sora may generate inaccurate, inappropriate, or harmful content, such as misrepresenting facts, violating privacy, or promoting bias. Misrepresenting facts or generating false or inaccurate information is known as hallucinating in the AI field. And to be fair, hallucinating is not only something Sora has to deal with, but most, if not all, models have to deal with it. The most famous example of this is probably the penguin urine one. So if you're not familiar with this, once in an interview with CBS, a reporter by the name of Lesley Stahl was interviewing Yusuf Mehdi, and he showed her an earlier version of ChatGPT, which threw out a random fact. And the fact read, 3% of the ice in the Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine. Now in reality, penguins don't piss. The nature of these deep learning technologies, however, is that with every day that passes, this will happen less and less. But if you use AI for anything besides creative writing, if you use it for anything fact-based, be sure to double check anything that it may give you. And this is something you're going to hear me say time and time again throughout this video going forward. Take what you see, take what you read with a grain of salt. Bias is another major concern, but again, not one limited to just Sora, but something that affects AI in general. For these large language models to work, they must be fed data, vast amounts of data, and that data comes from humans. And this unfortunately includes any and all biases. So this is why whenever I hear somebody say that an AI judge will be truly fair and unbiased, I just think to myself, this person doesn't understand how AI works. And this is all I really have to say about this particular issue. It's not too big, and it's something that affects AI in general. The next major issue is the disruption of the film and voice work industries. First off, before mentioning the major issues in regards to the film industry this is going to cause, in the sake of fairness, we do have to talk about some of the positive aspects. First, this technology is going to give small, indie, low-budget, and perhaps even no-budget filmmakers a chance to bring their projects to life. A chance that due to lack of funds, they may never have had the opportunity otherwise to do. It may even give an opportunity to those who have no knowledge of film to make movies. Additionally, it can be used to easily obtain secondary material, like B-roll footage and establishing shots. Perhaps it can even be used to finish a work should one of the actors tragically pass away during production. Now, with all of that out of the way, similar to what other forms of AI art has done to those who create digital art, this is going to put many people who work in the content creation industries out of work. Those who work in such fields as traditional filmmaking and animation are going to be hit the hardest. And such people would include directors, cinematographers, and visual effect artists. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if actors aren't affected at least a little bit by this. In addition to this, one expert, Dr. Andrew Newell, a chief scientific officer for identity verification firm iProve, told CBS MoneyWatch, voice actors or people who make short videos for video games, education purposes, or ads will be the most immediately affected. Additionally, there are numerous ethical issues in how these models work. As I mentioned earlier, these models work by learning from and utilizing an astronomical amount of text, images, or in this case, videos. And all of these are from creators and artists that have not been compensated nor credited. And when you combine this with the fact that these models are putting these very same artists out of work, it's a horrible situation and one likely to be repeated once Sora is fully released. Seeing is not believing. And the final issue I want to discuss in this section. Sora may also generate content that is indistinguishable from reality, which could pose ethical and social risks, such as spreading misinformation, manipulating emotions, or eroding trust. This is the main issue I want to focus on, and the one I have seen the least amount of discourse about in the circles I run in on social media. And if I am being 100% completely real with you, fam, this is the issue that has me the most concerned. And this is not to downplay the havoc it will cause in the film industry and other art fields, nor the misinformation it may innocently share, but as we shall soon see, this is on a whole other level from those other problems. What follows is a list of ways or areas which may be impacted by this technology in such a negative way. These things that affect our personal lives, our society, our country, and maybe even the whole planet. Now, I've organized these from the least concerning to the most concerning. However, be warned, this is not an exact science in how I ordered them. Imagine, if you will, that you have a vindictive lover, a coworker, a rival, or maybe even there's just a sadist who likes to see people suffer, or someone who gets off on watching drama has targeted you. As long as they have a picture of you, which they could easily obtain if they have your social media, they can make you do something perhaps you never would. Is someone jealous of you and your significant other's relationship? They can make a video of you having an affair. Do you have a rival at work vying for your position? They can make a video of you having a meltdown at a Starbucks or McDonald's and using slurs, and bam, you're canceled. No job and you're ostracized for something you didn't do. And I can go on with this, but I think you get the picture. And we have way bigger fish to fry here. Scammers have taken advantage of lesser forms of AI technology or AI models built to serve other purposes, such as text and image generation for their cons. They have used these tools to get people to purchase items that don't exist. They have used these models to create elaborate ruses to get people to give up their personal information, such as credit card numbers, bank info, or social security numbers. People have lost money. People have even had their identity stolen because they have fallen victims to this technology. So if all of this could happen with these previous AI models, what will happen here with video? For many people, video is way more convincing, way more damning than pictures or text. Unfortunately with this, both our elderly population and our children are going to be hit very hard by this, as they will be the primary targets, though in reality, none of us are safe. So if you have any older people or children you care about, you need to sit down with them and have this discussion. You need to tell them, unfortunately, we live in a world now where we can't trust everything we see. The next major issue is deepfake porn. Deepfake porn has already been created with lesser technology. In fact, about this time last year, there was the whole Atriot QT Cinderella situation, where essentially one streamer was caught looking at deepfake porn of another streamer. Now maybe you're thinking, Big Mike, but didn't OpenAI state sexual content would not be allowed to be created? And yes, fam, that is very true. They did in fact state that. But how long before something like this, as Mudahar in his video on the subject put it, is ripped from its official protocol and is put up on GitHub, where it may or may not have said protections? Or even more so, what if there are methods to work around this, or to jailbreak this? Other AI models have this. Character AI, for example, a popular character chat app built using ChatGPT, has a very strict not safe for work filter. But there are many ways to get around this. Who's to say some similar exploit doesn't exist with Sora? Not only could traditional and online celebrities be targeted by this, but everyday people as well. Sexually explicit content could be made about anyone, and it can be used to blackmail or to even ruin someone's life or reputation. Now, the second largest issue here is this. This for the United States is an election year, and one major concern is how this technology could be utilized to spread disinformation. Oren Etzioni, the founder of TrueMedia.org, told CBS MoneyWatch, generative AI tools are evolving so rapidly, and we have social networks, which leads to an Achilles heel in our democracy, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time. End quote. With all of the lies and mudslinging that existed in pre-AI times in politics, it is no stretch of the imagination to assume such technology would be used, if not by the campaigns themselves, then at least by their supporters, whether special interest groups or individuals, or even more chillingly, fam, by foreign nations wanting to influence the election. Even in pre-AI times, it was a good rule of thumb to take what you hear about politics with a grain of salt. And this is going to be even more critical going forward. As easy as it is to say, yeah, fuck the other guys, and share something without knowing if it's legit, no matter what side you're on, don't be that person. Fact check. People will only use this technology in such a way as long as it's effective. If it's no longer effective, they'll stop using it. But by far, the biggest issue is the existential threat. Someone, either a nation, a terrorist group, or perhaps even an individual could make a deepfake video of a major world leader, a president, a prime minister, or what have you, declaring war on another nation, or saying they are going to nuke another nation, or even more. And if you think this is crazy, or this is absurd, or this is impossible, these types of videos, again, created by lesser technology, have been utilized in the Russian-Ukrainian war. At the start of the war, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was seen in a press release stating that the war was over and that Ukraine was surrendering. This obviously turned out to be fake, and fortunately the Ukrainian citizens were able to recognize this. While the semblance was there of their president, they could easily look at him and tell something was not quite right. With this new technology, perhaps next time it would be successful. And unfortunately, such videos would not even have to be about an international conflict. A deepfake could show a major world leader announcing a major disaster had happened, and it could potentially cause civil disorder, in which someone, either internal or external, could take advantage of. Now again, Dr. Andrew Newell told CBS MoneyWatch, Sora will make it even easier for malicious actors to generate high-quality video deepfakes and give them even greater flexibility to create videos that could be used for offensive purposes. So this isn't just Big Mike wearing a tinfoil hat. This is real, fam. So to conclude this section, I just want to make the following point. This technology has outpaced laws and regulations, and so the only thing currently holding back the masses from getting this technology is the simple fact that the company has yet to release it, which, in adherence to their philosophy of minimalizing the threat of AI by giving as many people as possible access to it, it seems like an inevitability at this point. Though let's just pretend, for example, by some miracle they don't release it. Well, if they don't, one of their competitors will, or they will release something very similar, if not greater than this. An objection to this issue. Now, in the last section, particularly with that last issue, we discussed a lot of scenarios there. And some of those are very scary to think about. So here in this section, I just want to take a moment to step back and to discuss a possible objection to that issue. Now you may be thinking, but Big Mike, I can tell these videos are fake. And that's very true, fam. If you pay close attention and you know exactly what to look for the time being, we can tell these videos are fake. And to explore this issue, let's look at 3 videos in particular. First, let's look at the video we saw earlier of the lady walking down a Tokyo street at night. You can notice a few oddities here and there, particularly with the people in the background, but by far the most glaring issue is the writing. If you're not familiar with Japanese, you may or may not notice this, but show this to someone who knows Japanese and they will quickly tell you this isn't kosher. And speaking of kosher, this particular sign looks more like Hebrew than Japanese to me. Now take that with a grain of salt. I've studied Hebrew, but I've never studied Japanese. Secondly, let's look at the video of the lady in bed with her cat. If you notice, at the end of the video, her hand seems to clip through the blanket, and it looks almost like she has a third hand. Lastly, let's look at the video of the couple walking down the Tokyo street. Now for this one, I was not able to watch this one more than twice, as it gave me horrible motion sickness the day it first came out. So for this one, I'm relying on comments from a very cool dude and somebody I consider a cool bro, Corey Caesar. Now, Corey is somebody who works in video, and he's critiqued this as saying, the streets don't scale proportionally. Same with the stalls. The point here is that for now, we can tell these are fake. But there are 2 caveats worth discussing. First, these videos are not necessarily meant to convince us, but more so those people who would see these videos while scrolling through social media and accept them as true without thinking twice about it. And the most important caveat here is that this is true only for the time being. Remember that weird AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti that looked like an animated Picasso painting? It feels and looks like it was from years ago, right? Well, it's just from 11 months ago. So in a time span of 11 months, we've gone from that monstrosity to lady walking in the streets of Tokyo. The thing is, as I mentioned earlier, these models are self-learning, so they are constantly improving and will get better as time progresses. Now, Mudahar believes that in 1 year, we won't be able to differentiate between what's real and what's AI generated. And as much love and respect I have for him, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if it wasn't for him, but I disagree. I feel like it could happen much sooner, perhaps in just several months. In my opinion, it doesn't have too far to go now before it's indistinguishable. Seeing is not believing, or is it? In the last sections, I painted a dark picture, and honestly it feels like we're quite screwed. But things may not be as hopeless as they seem. There are at least 2 saving graces here that may help protect us from things going awry. This first one may or may not give you comfort, depending on how you view this. This past summer, when I was covering the David Grush situation and was making connections in the UFO community, I learned of a precious fact that very much could come into play here. Now, the exact amount of years varies, but in general it's often said that military technology is at least 10 to 20 years ahead of civilian tech. Now, while the exact number is anyone's guess, there's far less certainty when dealing with AI. Unlike with weapons and the like, where there are really no public competitors, with AI there is fierce competition not only between nation states but also between private companies. It is believed that the US military has AI technology that is more advanced than that which is used by civilians. However, those who are interested in the subject feel far less confident in giving an estimate at exactly how far ahead it is. Now, depending on the reality of these capabilities, this could mean the US government could protect itself from any such disinformation attack. However, such capabilities, should they even exist, would offer no protection to the lower level situations we discussed earlier, such as deepfake porn, scams, and other forms of harassment. So what about those situations? Well, that's where the second saving grace comes into play. In something seemingly inspired by Terminator 2 Judgment Day, we may be able to rely on AI to protect us from AI.
Come with me if you want to live.
Now, full disclosure here, fam, this section is pure speculation on my part. Now, it's speculation I believe can be logically and reasonably made, but it's speculation nonetheless. So, when ChatGPT became publicly available and gained some notoriety, many high school and university students began using it to complete their assignments. Once teachers and schools caught on, those interested in combating this began developing AI that could detect if something was written by a machine. Most famously ChatGPT 0, and since then both sides have been locked in an arms race of sorts. Similar arms races have happened with AI-generated images. First you had generators like DALL-E Mini, and then a plethora of anti-AI tools arose to combat it. And both have continued to go back and forth, with now even social media platforms throwing their hats in the ring on the side of AI image detectors. So with this in mind, I feel like I can safely speculate there will be another arms race in this field as well, between those who wish to pass off their AI creations as legitimate and those who wish to detect such. Though who will initiate this, when they will do it, and how they will go about it is still very much in the air. Now here I want to give my final thoughts on this subject. I want to clarify something. AI isn't evil in and of itself. Like any tool, it's neutral. It depends entirely on the person using it. Like I said in my previous AI-related deep dive, it's like a hammer. I can use it in a positive way, I can use it to build something or repair something, or I can use it in a harmful way. I can use it to beat somebody's ass with it. But no matter how I use it, I'm the one responsible for the action and not the hammer. Similarly, AI can be used in many good ways to help humanity, or it can be used in one of the negative ways we talked about here today. But regardless, it's the person using it who's at fault, and not the AI. Now perhaps one day AI will become sentient, and this view will no longer be valid. But until that day happens, I feel like this view holds weight. And this will probably piss a lot of people off. AI isn't going anywhere. Sora isn't going anywhere, genies don't go back into bottles, and there ain't no turning back once that train is off its track. Maybe laws can make AI go out of sight and out of mind, but not away. AI development has become an arms race, not only in the arena of nation versus nation, but also corporation versus corporation, and while the heads of these may publicly call for moratoriums and cool-down periods, their actions behind closed doors betray their true intentions. None of them want to fall behind, so trying to fight for this to make it go away is pointless. It would be much better to put that energy into use for fighting for the following, for educating people on the ethics of AI usage, such as basic stuff as not making content of people without their consent, not using it to spread misinformation, and by properly paying, giving credit to, or seeking permission from any creator for using their content to train your AI. Just to name a few basic principles here. For regulating the technology and for passing laws for holding those who misuse this technology accountable. And lastly, for the development and funding of AI detection technology. And lastly, I just want to clarify something here. Throughout this video, I pointed out OpenAI's philosophy of giving AI to everybody. Now, I'm a fan of FOSS, free and open source software, because deep down, I truly believe anybody should have access to technology. Now, that being said, I do believe people, your common person, should have access to AI, but I think regulations and laws should be in place first. I think the common people need to be educated first before this happens. And lastly, we need to have AI detection technology fully developed and ready to go before this happens. And when that happens, I would have absolutely no issue with AI technology becoming available to the masses. Okay, let me take a moment, fam, step back and mellow out a bit. As I'm sure you can probably tell, this is something I'm very passionate about. So I titled this video, Sora AI, Seeing is Not Believing. And in closing, I want to leave you all with a question to think about. One I myself will be contemplating for quite some time. From this point on, will we ever truly be able to believe anything we see on TV or online again? Alright, so if you made it this far, then this is the end of the video. This is my end slate. And because of the nature of this video, I'm not going to do my normal shtick. And also this right here isn't scripted. So I just want to give a special thank you to all those who helped make this video possible. Honkflap, my bestie, she gave me some good advice, and she was there to let me bounce ideas off of her. Also, I want to give a special thanks to Tsarkhan. Like, bro, he's not just like one of my best bros, but he's somebody I look up to as a content creator. And he actually went out of his way to help me by sending me some leads and stuff. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't really find a way to work them in, but I definitely still appreciate the Fault Fam. And I just want you to know you have all my love and respect in the world, bro. And lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to Corey Caesar. Dude, he really came through for me. He really came through for me with that video, or criticizing that video of the people walking through Tokyo City together, because that put me on my ass, fam. That really, I came very close to not making this video because that gave me some horrible motion sickness. So very special thanks to Corey Caesar. And I'm going to put links to each one of the individuals I talked about. I just gave a special thanks to. So please go follow them on social media. If they're content creators, please go subscribe to their content as well. Also, I want to give a special thanks to Fran. I'm not sure where she is or what's going on with Fran, but she's my artist and she does a fantastic job doing my art. I don't know if she still does art or not, but if she does, you should give her a follow and you should definitely commission her if you ever need some art done. And special thanks to all my friends on Twitter. I wouldn't have been here without you. I wouldn't have made this video without you. Your support has kept me going for all this time. And lastly, thank all of you for watching. This has been a hell of a ride. This has been a long video. One of the longest videos I made in quite a while. And it's also been quite a heavy video too. And thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. My content's kind of all over the place, but hopefully my next video will be much more lighter than this. Well, until next time, fam, remember, just be yourself and you'll be awesome. Peace out!